What is good, ballers? I hope you made some money this week. If you followed my advice, you should have definitely made some money. I made some good money. Just a quick run through of where I steered you. So, starting out with quarterbacks, I said Matt Ryan. And lesson I learned this week, Drew Brees and Matt Ryan, if they're playing outside, I'm just going to avoid them. If they're outside the dome, then I don't want anything to do with them. But at the end of the day, none of the quarterbacks really did good, did very well, unless you picked some off-the-wall stuff in 50-50 and went to like Eli Manning or something. Aaron Rodgers put up good numbers. But for the most part, all of the quarterbacks were pretty middle of the road. So Ben Roethlisberger, one of the other guys I suggested, put up 23. So if you split between those two, it didn't hurt you that bad compared to the other guys. Bortles put up 25. But yeah, most of the quarterbacks were right. Goff 16, Cousins 14. Derek Carr 5, Carson Wentz down there at 21. Guy I was suggesting in GPP plays. But yeah, really middle of the road for most every quarterback, except that Thursday night game. If you played the Thursday through Monday, I didn't get a chance to get on early in the week to do this. So then running backs, we got Gurley 31. Gordon 20, Connor 33, Yeldon 22, and Mixon 19. If you had followed my advice with the Gurley, Gordon, Yeldon, the only way you could have got better, the only better thing would have been if you threw Gurley in there, dropped down to Connor, and put Yeldon. But, all of them went up. Basically the other takeaway this week is pay up for running backs, because the guys down low are not going to hit nearly as often as you'd like for 50-50. So basically just get 3 stud running backs in there and then find the gems at wide receiver. Because there isn't a whole lot to find at running back down there. At least nothing you can feel confident about. Like GPP plays, take some chances, go for it. But in the cash games, you need something is going to hit. For the guys I suggested, GPP, Aaron Jones didn't really do a whole lot. Definitely killed a GPP lineup, or hurt it. But he got 7, so he didn't do nothing. Eckler got 12, so he had a decent outing. He might be good to throw in GPP a couple GPP lineups every week if you do them. Because if Gordon gets hurt, you don't ever want to root for an injury, but they do happen. And if that was to happen, he would have a monster game, and then the next week his price would catch up. So it might be good to throw him every once in a while in there. Derrick Henry, only 6. I think he is droppable if you have him in any season-long formats. And I don't think I'll ever put him in another lineup for any reason. But, he just seems like he's done. You can get rid of him, move on. Wide receivers, Antonio Brown lighting it up with 25 points, and Adam Thielen with 21. Julio, I don't know what is going on. He didn't even do anything at the beginning of the game. It wasn't towards the end of the game where he got any points. Ended with 9. So I don't know why they're not throwing to him, but I guess, you got to drop him. You got to fade him a bit. He's going to eventually blow up for this big game. And, in season-long fantasy, I'm still trying to trade for him. You know, if I can make a trade for Julio, I still consider him an elite number one. But, you know, as far as the 50-50 cash lineups, you got to start wondering if he's going to hit the value up at that high price. Dropping down to the mid-range wide receivers that I suggested, we got Cooper Kupp hitting 18 points. He was in a ton of my lineups. But then on the flip side, Tyler Boyd getting only 6, and he was in a ton of my lineups. Down a little bit, Sanu at 15, also in a ton of my lineups, and Jordy Nelson at 12. So not too bad. Hopefully Boyd didn't hurt you too bad. I still won most all of my 50-50 lineups. There was one lineup I set that didn't do so good, but every other 50-50 lineup I made won. The one I had in, 6 or 7 lineups, but all in all, a decent week. And then if we go down to tight ends, McDonald didn't do anything. He was the guy that I was playing all over the place. I was playing him for value, so at least he didn't cost that much when it comes down to it. He's the reason I was able to get Gurley, Gordon, and Yeldon, all in the same lineup with a decent wide receiver crew. So I can't be too mad. But, yeah, I mean, if you can afford to pay up at tight end, you should do it, because we had Kelsey getting 15, Zach Ertz getting 22, Graham getting 14. They were the 3 guys, if I was paying up, I was going to pay up to. I thought heavily on Austin Hooper, the other side of it, but then I was like, Vance McDonald has been doing more. He's cheaper, and they're home, so I went with him. If you had gone Austin Hooper in a few lineups, you were looking good. So defense, Tennessee didn't blow up, but didn't disappoint. 7 points where their price was at. I mean, that's good. If you paid up for the Rams or switched up and went with San Fran, it wasn't looking very good. Only 1 point for each of them. But my other 2 suggestions, the Cardinals and Baltimore. Cardinals at 21, they were probably the play of the week at defense. And Baltimore at 11. So, mix and match on tight end, but Tennessee, I feel like, was the play. I looked at percentages. McDonald and Tennessee were 60% plays in the leagues I was in. So, them, McDonald not doing anything, 60%, over half of the other competitors had him as well. So, it wasn't really hurting you, but if he had blown up, it would have killed you. If more than half of the lineup had this tight end that blew up. And yeah, if you had Ertz, you would have been that much better than everybody. But that's what it is. You can't predict everything, but just trying to be as accurate as possible. And, this week, pretty set. Won some money. Hopefully you did. I'm going to come with the early week lineups up next for this upcoming week. So get that done right now.